I said boosh. What's up, people? I'm not waiting for the bass drop.
Boosh?
Boosh. That's my new thing. I'm gonna make that a thing now. Everyone's gonna be doing it. All the cool kids around the universe. Trying to copy.
You're like 45, dude. Nobody's gonna listen to
I'm not 45.
Yeah, you act like it.
Do I?
Yes, like consistently.
Well, shit.
You both act pretty old.
Yeah, you have pretty fucking old yourself, actually. Oh, yeah, don't
I love how you look at totally.
Oh, look at that, we're invisible. Oh, I love streaming. Love it. Great.
Man, by the way, for people that don't know, Invisible Man was one of the worst movies of 2020, and I don't know how it didn't get on that list.
Wait, what was?
Invisible Man.
Oh, no, yeah, you put it in your list, and you're wrong for that shit. So
the movie's terrible.
We already had issues with people disagreeing with us because we had.
Yeah, because for some by the way, Doom Patrol is the best television show to come out this year, and Last of Us 2 is the worst video game to come out this year.
You know what's fucking weird? Is like this thing's like frozen. Why is it frozen? Oh, there we go.
I don't know.
All right, now we're good.
Did
God
you
damn
it or some shit.
Who knows, man? Who knows? Hey, Streamlabs, you fucking bastards! Fuck you. Anyways, so God, what a piece of shit fucking company. No wonder why you guys can't make more money, huh? Yeah, over here just trying to like do a bunch of skins and stuff. Hey, can you give us $20 so you can change it to blue? It's like, yeah, that's why that's your business practice, you fucking assholes. But the thing is, though, Alan, how are you? I hope you're having a better day than I am, good sir.
I mean, technically.
Yeah.
My day sucked.
Really? Your day sucked? Oh, we're dropping frames too. Oh my god.
Sorry,
Cute.
guys. Apparently, this show is being held together by bullshit, and that's falling apart.
I love you today. I
mean,
love
the
you.
stream seems okay it seems okay there. Ask
It's
the
only
people
fucking
how
up on YouTube apparently. But you know, if it's fucking up for you guys, let us know so we have a reason to stop it. Oh, look at that! And then all the comments came on at once. Who knows what's going on? Yasuo fan, how you doing? She's saying subgain. JJ Panda over here saying he's COVID free. Fucking congratulations, dude.
Good.
That's that's a good Monday. That's someone's Monday actually going the way it's supposed to be. That's actually pretty cool. Everett is cool over here saying hello once again. He's as early as he typically is. I really appreciate that, man. I will always appreciate you being here early because you catch all the bullshit. You know, me not having our faces on screen, etc., etc. It's a whole thing. Black Knight saying his day sucks. Tell us about it if you don't mind. I would like to talk to you about it. Maybe you can compare shitty days. You know, it's like dick measuring, but just shitty day measuring. I like doing that.
What?
Yeah. That's the thing. Like, all friends do it to each other. Would be like, you know, man, my day sucked, bro.
Yeah,
and,
totally, Nick. Sure, 100%. Yeah.
You kind of did to me earlier. I would be like, man, my day fucking sucks. I was like, well, yeah, my day. I stubbed my toe.
Yeah. Ask how your day was, and that's how big your dick was.
Well, no, that's not even like. I'm just saying it's kind of like the same thing, but
no,
not
it's
really
not.
The same thing.
No. When I ask Jet, hey, how your day is, I'm not asking about any measurements of her body.
I am. I'm gonna be honest, Jen. Anytime I ask you about your day, I really just want to know how big your dick is.
You want to know?
Yeah, I do.
Soft 8 inches.
Shit.
That's a goddamn.
I haven't measured it hard yet.
That's a goddamn lie.
Yeah, that'll be all. I mean, if it's starting off at 8 inches, like, I don't know. That would be a whole chore if it was hard. I don't know. Speaking of, no, this is not speaking of anything. Why do I use that as a segue all the time? I'm just speaking of.
You're fucking lazy and you're predictable.
Oh, well, fuck you. No, the thing is, though, is there was a thing I had to get a clip for Corey. One of the reasons why we're late on the show. That never happens, right? No, but the thing is, though, is apparently Donald Trump, when he did this whole long thing, I remember I saw you commenting on it this morning, Alan. But apparently this whole conversation was leaked. Yeah. But within the conversation, there's a part here where that dude just straight up farted. And I'm kind of like, dude, in moments like that where like that's taking over the entire internet, I'm trying to find news, I'm trying to find video game topics, I'm trying to find movie topics, but everything is moved to the side because Donald Trump foo-fooed. It's like, dude, what the fuck is today? You know what I mean? But
well, I'm not sure if the articles are he farted or more of these trying to essentially pressure the state of Georgia to fucking basically give him the win.
See, I wish I would have like heard that part of it, but I didn't. It's all farts. He farted, dude.
That's you, man. You get your news from like Ass Face magazine or whatever.
That's for one. You are terrible with names. That's why I name all the 20,000 shows we fucking have.
Yeah, and all of them get 2 episodes.
No.
He's like Netflix, guys. Just come up with an idea.
How was the science show? How was the science show?
I mean, great actually.
Yeah, all 1 episodes. Or wait,
all
no, I'm sorry,
episodes.
plurals.
I wrote 4 episodes. I just haven't filmed them.
Yeah, it's kind of like you got to do it.
Yeah, but I don't want to do it terribly. I've learned from examples.
Yeah, I know. that's supposed to be a joke at me. I just have no way to respond. Mandarin
Yes.
Part Picture
Yes,
saying,
it was.
just saying hi to everybody. I see you over there in the chat. I wanted to say what's up.
That's
to you,
my
but I
job.
forgot.
My only job. I say hi to everyone.
Cedric in the chat. Black Knight in the chat.
Yeah.
My mama in
Sorry.
the chat.
People are being acknowledged. No, we should do what you
My
do and just ignore them until they give you
Dude,
bits.
you're equivalent to like a Twitch bot.
They thank me.
I'm
As soon
just
as someone
saying.
gets into the chat, as soon as someone comes into the chat, me as literally not a robot, I'm like, hey, this person's in the chat. And usually they're like, hey, back, and we have a little bit of
Al in the
conversation.
chat.
You don't even recognize them.
I say them by
You
name.
might
I
be
say
in
them
here.
with my voice. I'm like, hey there, guys,
Oh,
welcome.
bullshit.
And then
Bull
you don't even
fucking
see this on
You
camera,
didn't
but
even
I
know that
actually.
there's a Black Knight? You know the Black Knight's in the chat?
Yeah, wow, you weren't paying attention. I literally, like, he's talking about his day stuff and asked him about his day. That's what started the whole dick conversation.
No,
So you're
man,
not even paying
that was
attention.
somebody else. That was
No,
somebody
that was
else.
literally Black Knight. He was the only person who talked about his day sucking.
No, a lot of people talk about the day suck. I talk about it. You don't acknowledge me.
Black Knight, you tell him. You tell him. And tell him about
With
that
the big
fucking
orange-
red,
Oh,
wet
God.
fart, too. God damn it. And,
I'm glad Gary's not here.
oh, no, and by the way, I'll pay him with respect just like I'll pay Raheem with respect. He says a plate of Asian vagina would taste good right now. And that's weird. That's a weird thing to say. That's
I
a
knew he
very
was in there and I
strange-
ignored his ass.
See, and
I
there
don't
you go,
give a
guys.
shit.
And guys, there you go. He ignores your ass. Your whole ass. He ignores it. While I'm over
Hey,
here.
Dean has my
reading
back.
it.
I acknowledge Alan. He's the greatest.
I use greeting for everything. I don't care if you're weird, dude. I love you still. You're watching us. You're giving us your attention, and I
Oh.
appreciate that. And he doesn't like it. Alan's like, oh, pff.
I don't like y'all.
He doesn't like Gary. He doesn't like Raheem.
Yeah,
He doesn't like
yeah.
the movies. It's a whole thing with this guy.
Coming from the guy that defends Transformers movies.
Only the first one. Well, and the third one, the fourth one.
The third one is the worst.
No, it wasn't. No,
The second one is like, it's still bad, but it's not as bad.
are you gonna need chat to come in here and tell you how stupid you are again by defending the second one
Okay,
and saying
everyone.
that's the worst?
Between 2 and 3, which is the worst movie? I think 3 is a way worse movie.
And why is that?
Mostly because the first hour is Michael Bay trying to be, I don't know the fuck he was trying to do, where it's like Shia LaBeouf is trying to get a job, and it's some of the worst screenwriting, some of the worst quote-unquote comedy, some of the worst just, like,
Oh, that's
plot.
some great comedy, man.
It is all terrible, and that was when they had, what's-his-face, Wang from Community, whatever the fuck his name was, being a major part of it.
His name's
It is
Ki-Jong.
legitimately so fucking terrible. I saw it once at theater, I want to walk out. Like,
So-
it's an hour before anything really happens, and when stuff happens, it's typical Transformers stuff, so whatever, it was fine. But that first hour is some of the worst writing I've ever seen in a movie, ever.
And you make certain points, Matt, but this is Revenge of the Fallen over here, Transformers 2, and this movie is really bad. This movie.
Again, we're comparing a cat turd and a dog turd, so
And-
it's not
and
like,
we're
oh my
still-
god.
Well, no, you just want me to stop so you make your point, but I have a very valid point to tell. Where that very valid point is this movie has robots having sex with Megan Fox's leg. They got a farting jet. A jet that transforms, and he's apparently 1,000 years old. He talks like this. I'm a big jet, and I'm really old. And he farts a parachute
just
out
like-
of his ass.
Well, not again.
Well, yeah.
The movie's bad, sure. No one's saying that the second one isn't terrible, but the third one is just worse. It's a worse movie.
I disagree. And plus, the third one has so much more things on there. Oh, thank you, Gary. See, and by the way, that's another reason why I love Gary. He hosts us.
I hate you, Gary. I don't like you.
Why is that? Is that because you have a thing with birds?
What? Really? Do I have to go through it?
Is it because of the bird thing?
Nah. Swear. Dealing with the fucking thickest motherfucker in the world here.
Please do that one more time.
No.
No.
Thank you. I
Yeah,
still
super.
can't pronounce your fucking name.
See, and
I
once
apologize
again,
for that.
because
Oh,
I love you
bullshit!
guys.
You only
I
don't
can
call
do this.
Dahan.
Yasuba Faf. You made me fuck up. No, Yasuba Fan. See, I know this stuff. You though, even the game that you gave Best of the Year to, you can't even say Ghost of Tsushima right. Say it right. What's the name of
No.
that game?
You can't say most things right.
Ghost of Tsushima. Shoshima.
Wow, you got the one or two things I fucked up. Hey, what's that singer whose name you can't fucking pronounce?
What, Adele?
Yeah, this motherfucker. You should tell people what we used to call her. Or should we call
I call her
Corey?
Adele
how
the entire
do you
time.
pronounce Bjork?
Okay, I fucked up that. Yeah.
Let's call Corey up and see how you pronounce that motherfucker.
Yeah. But you know what? Corey can't spell. Shit! No, Corey, I don't mean that when you're watching this. I'm sorry.
That's what you get.
You know, Alan
Yeah,
can't
that's
give
what-
those pennies.
That was a hearty ass laugh.
And I know he has to fucking watch his mouth. I don't have to worry about a goddamn thing. I didn't say anything wrong.
Oh yeah, hey Corey, what was that really great present you got from Alan? You know the Canadian
Remember that shit?
pennies. I don't know. I'm trying to just throw the thing on you somehow. I don't
Exactly.
know.
He ain't gonna remember goddamn
I
thing.
can pull it off. I think.
Why
I
would
don't
you
know.
give him something so worthless?
I don't know. I thought it'd be a cool idea.
No, it was a cool idea. No, I want to make.
I mean, Nick does it all the time.
Wait, I give people Canadian pennies. I'm not that stupid.
No, he give you worthless stuff. That was what I was going for.
Oh, well, that's not nice. The thing is, I'm looking at this. Transformers 2. Chad, tell me, Chad, do you guys feel like this is the worst one in the entire franchise? And the only reason why I'm really harping on this is because I don't have any topics.
Well, I can talk about a couple of things if you want. I get the chat going because I just went through my my most recent playthrough of Mass Effect 1 and fully beat it, and I'm making my way through the trilogy again because it's literally, I think, been almost a decade since I've even touched any of those games because of just how disappointed I was with Mass Effect 3. And it is a weird time capsule going back and playing some of those games because you get to see what the industry was, at least what it considered a third-person shooter and cover system back then. It was wild.
We'll talk more about that in a bit because I actually legit wanted to hear what people would say. I know you want to throw, get off of it, and that makes sense because you're a good podcaster unlike myself. But the thing is, people are saying last night was too much. It was fucking trash. I agree. There's a
last
character.
night? Is that
No,
the fifth one?
No,
Is that the fifth one?
yeah, that's the one. That's the second one with Mark Wahlberg, and there's a character named Super Zeus. Oh, God, what's his fucking name? It's like
My dumbass is over here thinking you're saying like, yeah, I can't believe what happened last night. Like, what happened last night?
no.
That's what I thought too, actually. But
everyone's saying
honestly, at that point, I've seen all the Transformers movies, and I had such a low bar for just these movies. I don't know why the fuck I saw it. I think a buddy of mine was like, "You want to watch some bullshit?" I'm like, "Yeah." I went in with just fucking whatever. I don't care. And I'm like, look, as far as regular Michael Bay fucking garbage Transformers movies, it wasn't the worst one. I watched it. I'm like, whatever. I chuckled at how bad it was. And there were a few moments I'm like, okay, this is not bad. But like, I don't think it's any worse than the other ones.
But the fact that Bumblebee can literally come apart in pieces and then just karate the fuck out of like 20 different robots and then come back together, that is some bullshit in Transformers last night.
Stupid, but
the
it's not
biggest
any
thing-
dumber than anything else that happens.
But mostly, well, no, but like, okay, don't you get mad when I say that about Marvel Comics where I'm like, well, it's stupid shit anyway, so why not try to become better? It's like, Transformers is something that, even though it's stupid
Well,
anyway,
no,
it could
Transformers
be
as
better.
a franchise is better because that War for Cybertron animated feature on Netflix was pretty good. As far as the movies, it's like it's weird because Michael Bay, when he does non-Transformers stuff, it works out way better for him. He does way better movies because we've seen that with. I mean, I don't like the Bad Boys movies, but people like those. You had Six Underground, which was fantastic. It's like he can do when he doesn't do Transform and Pain and Gain. When he doesn't do Transformers movies, he does better movies. But I just think he doesn't like doing Transformers movies, so he just stops caring.
Yeah,
Thank you
Mark
for the like.
Griffiths. Yeah, I really appreciate that. Anytime you guys like anything on our Facebook page or whatever too, because once again, I'm just straight up. I don't like the fact that we're very inactive on Facebook, but like when you guys do shit like that, it really really helps out, and we're definitely gonna push that shit forward. Ryan saying Nick's wrong about Bumblebee. I am absolutely not wrong about Bumblebee. That
Wait,
movie
the
was for
Bumblebee
kids.
movie or the Bumblebee in those movies?
I'm thinking it means the movie because like. Yeah, dude, that fucking that goddamn movie
didn't
wasn't
like
for kids, like for young kids. Like, that shit was bad. Like, okay,
I like
Soul
it
Mango.
better when it's called Iron Giant.
Soul Mango, with Real Steel, dude, that's a great movie. That's actually a fun movie. Hugh Jackman.
I never watched it.
Really? Wow, I'm surprised. Yeah.
It never came across my radar, and I saw the trailer, and I'm like, this just looks like Rock'em Sock'em Robots, the movie, which I think that's what they're going for.
Oh yeah.
But
You got a problem with Rock'em Sock'em Robots?
no, I love Rocket Sock'em Robots. I just
Why
thought the
did you
movie
like the
didn't look
movie?
that good.
Yeah, but that's funny how like no, I like them. That's why I didn't watch this because you remind me of it.
No, I just again, this is when it came out. I didn't really watch a lot of movies, so I saw that. I'm like, this looks like Rocket Sock'em Robots, the movies, but the trailer looked terrible, so I avoided it. I heard people liked it, but I heard a lot of mixed things.
And here's the
No,
thing
it's a
about
good
Bumblebee. Yeah, and here's the thing about Bumblebee too. Just I almost said Bumblebee Tuna like Ace Ventura, World's whatever the fuck. I'm looking at this.
I love those movies. Those movies are great.
But Bumblebee, when I looked at this, man, I'm not saying that's actually bad. I mean, like, for me, I once again, just like Alan said earlier, because he wants to be a dick, I am kind of lazy when it comes to just my segues of discussion. And sometimes I just use very simple words. And I'm like, this movie sucks. But it really doesn't suck. It's just, when it comes from me,
Yes, it
dude,
does.
Well, I mean, in your opinion, but like for me, I think that like it was for an audience that's not me. I'm a grown ass man. I shouldn't be in a movie theater being like, "All right, I can't wait for the fucking robots to boing boing and bang bang and beat the shit out of each other." It's like I'm stupid for taking this seriously. It's fucking robots. It's dumb.
No, I'm sorry, but I'm not gonna take that mentality because we literally just had the discussion with Soul, where it's like Soul's technically a kids movie, but it's really well written and really creative. This movie, it pretends to be that because it's like, well, hey, we're doing a non-Michael Bay Transformers movie, so we're gonna do something a bit more attuned to the actual character. And yes, it doesn't have the stupid fucking comedy that normal Michael Bay stuff has, where for some reason he thinks animals fucking is the height of comedy. I don't fucking know why, but whatever. But this one, it's poorly written. It's poorly paced. It has some decent action scenes when it wants to. But as far as the actual characterization, it's really not that good. Haley Steinfeld is a fantastic actress. Go watch her in literally anything else. This, they gave her nothing. Outside of like 1 or 2 scenes, they give her absolutely nothing. The parents there might as well not fucking exist for most of it. And it's just this wacky fucking, fish out of water movie for most of it. It's like, yeah, I liked it better when it was called Iron Giant. It's almost shot for shot the same movie.
Jed, in the chat, or not in the chat, but earlier on the show, you were talking about, because I interrupted you, you were talking about Real Steel. I'm surprised that you weren't sick of all the robot shit by the time that this came out. Did you actually really like this, or are you fucking around?
No, I mean, it's so, like, non-offensive. It's just a cute movie. I didn't really have a problem with it.
Now, why don't you have that same mindset with Transformers? I'm not trying to call you out or anything, but it's just like, what is that thing about Transformers that makes
didn't that second movie have racist-ass robots in it?
Yeah, never mind. I'm sorry.
I think that's why. I don't know. They're extremely racist robots, but I think that's why people like consider it the worst because it has way more overt racism.
Yeah, but Tom Kenny, the SpongeBob voice actor, is one of them. So it's like, hey, but SpongeBob, I like this. It's great.
That doesn't help.
It doesn't. Okay, well, shit.
But I guess that's why people like it's hard for me. Is like as much as I hate the third one, I can't sit there and be like, well, yeah, I mean, third one isn't as racist, so I mean, by virtue of that, it's technically better. But I just think the third one's a way worse movie. Oh, that trailer is fucking. Oh my god, don't even get started on that trailer. That trailer is a bunch of lies.
Someone in the chat, once again helping out with these particular discussions, and I love having discussions like this, guys. This is why I'd rather you guys just fucking bring up anything you guys want to bring up, and we can go all over the place. But cool with the 2 strings. This the director who did this, who by the way used to be a rapper, he was one who did Bumblebee, and this is actually a very good example of what that guy's capable of. He could have done a bunch of wonderful stuff with Bumblebee because he did such a good job doing this. Have you seen Kubo and the 2 Strings, Alan?
I've not, but I've heard good things. It's because a lot of the Bumblebee's actually the only movie that his company made that actually made a profit. Because as much as because he does a lot of stop motion is incredibly expensive, and unless you're Tim Burton, you really don't like. There are people that can make money off that, but like they don't make a lot of money. Unfortunately, even though there's a ton of fucking effort that goes into them, they don't really make a lot of money. So that's why you don't see a lot of them. You get like maybe like 1 every 2 years type shit. But it's weird because like when you have the Transformers franchise, they let you do whatever the fuck you want. Those movies make a ton of money. So the fact that you just made some Iron Giant ripoff, it's just like, I'm not even saying that that's why I didn't like it. I just don't think the movie's well written. And then I saw exactly the inspiration you're going for. So it's like I don't like your movie on its own. And it's essentially trying to ape off a much better fucking movie. So it's like, I'm not going to like this.
Yeah, no, and I agree. And it's just a shame because, like I said, the Kubo and the 2 Strings stuff the guy did, Coraline, this stuff looks so cool and so different. And it was something that, like, even though, like, yeah, you've seen many animated movies, you've seen Tim Burton stuff. This is very similar to that. But to see him do something at least somewhat different, and then he does Bumblebee, and it's almost like, well, this is indicative of lots of stuff. You don't know whether or not to blame Travis Knight or whatever his name is. I might be fucking it up. You don't know whether to blame him or Transformers. What's up?
I don't know. You got it right, but I think it's at the end of the day, it's like when you get I know that Neil Blomkamp, the guy who made District 9 and nothing else at all, he basically said that once you get over $100 million, this studio people show up. So once your movie becomes really expensive, because you're under 100 million, they'll be there. But you know what? It's $80 million. Who gives a shit? That's why District 9 was able to do what it did because that movie's like $20 million. So
they were able to with it too. It's like you can't tell that this movie is a cheaper movie. You know what I mean? Like God damn.
Yeah, no, Raheem, those movies don't exist. He only made one movie. I wish he made more movies. He only ever made one movie. But it's one of those things where it's like once you get above and Bumblebee, what, $150 million, $180 million, then you get a bunch of people telling you this is how the movie needs to be made. And it's like there's only so much. Like he does, like clearly he's not as bad of a director as Michael Bay because Michael Bay put so much stupid shit in there. But clearly, like there had to be stuff that needed to be in there, so it dilutes the quality of the movie.
On the topic of Neil Blomkamp, by the way, is our community the only community that hates Elysium? Because like it seems like this is brought up a lot just in passing. as if
This
people
movie
like
is
it.
terrible. This movie is absolutely terrible. Because like it's the whole thing is like this is the movie that I gotta bring up like he never did anything else. Like of course he made other movies, but every single movie after District 9 gets worse and worse as it goes on. And Elysium was like, well, okay, Matt Damon, I generally like Matt Damon. He's in good movies. Neil Blomkamp's a great director. Okay, cool. What's this movie gonna be? Well, this movie's gonna be a lame attempt at trying to talk about immigration and how rich people don't give a shit about the poor. I'm like, cool. You wore that so far up your sleeve that you can watch a trailer and get that at the movie. What's the rest of the movie gonna do? Nothing.
And Chappie, by the way, was some trash.
I never watched Chappie.
Yeah,
I heard too much bad about it.
Isn't Chappie that movie about that robot who basically tries to be Hood?
Yep.
I mean, I guess you want to put it like that. Yeah, sure.
It's like wasn't all the posters just him wearing like a fucking chain with his name on it or something?
Yeah, it was fucking weird. And it's like he's obsessed with South Africa. He's just obsessed with that region because like every movie feels like it's set in the same fucking area. But it's just one of those things where it's like he clearly has good ideas and he clearly can do CG on a small scale better than probably anybody else. But he's really bad at making movies because after District 9, everything has been terrible. Like the movies get worse and worse as they go along. And then you go and look, it's like, hey, fucking Transformers, it's all CG. And if you got somebody like Neil Blomkamp that knew how to do like a really good CG to make a Transformers movie, yeah, the movie would be great. But then you have a director that doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. So it's like you all the money in the world can't make you a better director.
I'm looking over here though, man. Ryan says I like Chappie better when it was called Short Circuit, but I think this goes down to the
Short
conversation.
Circuit's terrible.
I've never seen it, but the thing is, I think it really gets down to a situation where it's like, yeah, granted, Short Circuit did come out, and it was something that was, I guess, innovative for its time. But obviously, something's going to borrow from something else all the time. Because I'm wondering what ideas they stole from somebody else. Terminator, by the way, got shit from The Outer Limits, and Bumblebee got stuff from the Iron Giant. So it's almost like no matter what, you got to take from something else. Like I don't want to hold older movies against new ones because shit just kind of redoes sometimes.
It's a really interesting discussion because the discussion people are talking about when it comes to originality and what that actually means in regards to filmmaking. Because if you go down the rabbit hole that everything has been inspired by everything else, then there's truly no such thing as an original thought. It's not about the subject matter in which you take it from. It is the ability to you to present it in a way that has not been seen before. The best way to kind of describe it is like, and we talk about this, literally me and Ganja have arguments about this all the time, where he's like, oh, there's nothing original anymore. I'm like, if you're talking about the stuff that's coming out now, there's never been anything original ever. Because like, okay, here's a perfect example. Have you ever seen a red elephant?
No, but I've seen an elephant, and I can imagine it being red.
Exactly. Now, I created something you've never seen before, ever. In the history of your entire life, you've never seen it. But now I put an image in your head. What did I do? I took something that existed, I took something else that existed, and I created something you've never seen. That's original. That's supposed to be original.
Yeah.
But this idea that it has to be something that no one's ever heard of ever, that's not how anything ever worked. Go look at Star Wars. Star Wars is probably the best example, the original, by the way, in fucking, 76, A New Hope came out? That is the best example you're going to get of what originality is going to be, because that essentially, that was one of the movies, along with the Star Trek stuff, that started sci-fi. But those also took aspects from Eastern stories from Japanese culture. Darth Vader is literally supposed to be like the epitome of a samurai. You have a lot of different inspirations that George Lucas and the writers took to make Star Wars what it was. Same thing with Star Trek. So it's like,
be right back.
Oh, I can keep going on, but you take all these aspects and you make Star Wars. Same thing with Star Trek. It was based on Gene Roddenberry's books and his ideas of what it was to be the future, but that was also based on a lot of pro-military stuff. So it's like, what exactly do you deem as 100% fully original? You can't really. It's a difficult discussion to actually go into that. But Jed, do you have any thoughts on this?
I do not whatsoever. I have never had an original thought in my entire life, ever.
I actually thought Alan was like, "Hey Jay, are you original thought?" I was like, what?" But no,
I'm not even original thought.
But no, I'm wondering though, like, as far as like movies that seem to be modernized versions of older shit, though, do you feel yourself kind of saying like, yeah, I've seen this before, but yeah, I still like this new thing just because they made it for this audience versus the old 1980s or 90s audience?
It depends on how overt it is, because
I mean Jet, by the way.
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry. You can answer it afterwards, but I just want to get what Jet's opinion is on it.
I thought you were talking to Alan, and I was
It's
going to put
okay.
some Vaseline on my goddamn lips, and now I had to rush over to click on
I
the
mean,
unmute
they
button.
can still
There's
be
Vaseline on my mouse.
entertainment. By the way, just put your camera on. Everyone can watch you put Vaseline on your lips. I would pay for that. I would throw in bits and everything. But no.
Anyway, can you just have Alan answer and then repeat the question back to me?
No, so basically what I'm saying is, like, has there been a situation where you like a movie that's definitely not original, but, like, you're okay with it because it's a modernization of something that's for you versus for people from the 80s or 90s?
Oh yeah, like I haven't seen an original movie in a long ass time. Like they're like even then, like tropes are everywhere. So I mean, you got to get used to seeing like not original stuff. Hell, I watch a lot of anime, and like a lot of anime tends to not be original at all. They have the same premise over and over. Have you ever seen a romance anime? It's the
That's
same
true.
shit.
That is very
Well,
true. Go ahead.
and again, to jump in on that, it's like one of my favorite action movies ever is the first John Wick. But if you strip away Keanu Reeves and the gun kata and all that stuff, it's just a story about grief. It's just a man who lost his wife and is taking and lost his and lost something that he cares about, and he's taking his revenge out. You can easily fucking Kill Bill is a similar movie. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
is it like what's the difference between Kill Bill and John Wick except with release guns and swords? Like, but if you always act like that when it comes to movies, you could say that about anything in the fucking world. Like, Winter Soldier is just a Bourne movie. Civil War is just an Avengers movie with a different name. Like, if you always act like that, there's no such thing as an original movie.
I'm looking at
So the question, what's up?
No, because I was gonna say, just join because I totally get what you're saying too. But like somebody in the chat before they leave to go watch Obatoza, which they are on now, by the way. But someone said in the chat, "Sorry to bother you," was one of the situations, and I hate this movie. But like he's talking about, like even something that's crazy as this that everybody was calling this fucking like something brand new. Essentially, it needs to go back and thank, Living Large from 1991. This movie over here, and it's like, damn, like you really can't be even surreal. You know what I mean? Because like Marvel movies and everything, and I totally understand what you're saying, but at the same time, they really belong in like their aisle in blockbuster as being action adventure or comic book movie, and I feel like it's really really hard. Not to like pick on Marvel movies or anything, but I think it is hard for them to achieve not being a comic book movie because there's so many fans to serve. Like imagine if you were making a Marvel movie, you most likely are gonna piss off like 30% of all humanity that watched that movie. Because some people feel
I would want to make something akin to Civil War. I would want to make something akin to the Captain America movies because I feel like those are the ones that fit. Like I understand you have to put comedy in there, but I think that the Captain America trilogy does it really, really well, where it serves as a way to relieve the tension, but it never takes away from the seriousness of what's going on. So it's like, yeah, we're just bringing up the surreality, and it's like, well, how do you do that? It's like at the end of the day, it's like you can always trace back somebody doing something to a different movie, but the question is, how are you making it different? Yes, Winter Soldier is essentially a Bourne movie, 100%. But it's not just different because, hey, it's Captain America and he's blowing up Hydra versus random CIA goons. It's like, no, they're doing a lot of stuff when it comes to the character, how the character is actually progressing, how it affects the world. It's not just aesthetics for aesthetic sakes. That's why my issue with Bumblebee is aesthetics for aesthetic sakes. It's just taking essentially the same story, but you're not really adding anything different. You're doing almost beat for beat. And that's where it bothers me when your movie's not good. When your movie isn't good, and maybe that's just a me thing, but when I don't like your movie and I see the stuff that's like where you're taking inspiration from, I get mad. That's why I'm not mad at John Wick 2. John Wick 2 is just Escape from New York. It's the same fucking movie, but I enjoy the fuck out of the movie for its action scenes, so I'm not mad at it. But somebody else that doesn't like the movie is like, well, this is just Escape from New York, and it's like that's fair. Or not really, or the Warriors, or even what was that other movie? Fucking the second Persian movie. Guy has to get from point A to point B in a city that's trying to kill him. Like, that's not an original idea, but the things that movie does with its action scenes is original, and that's where you have to really take when it comes to making movies is you can't sit there and make something wholly original. Even when it comes to plot, that shit's been spelled out since the dawn of literature. But it's how you make it work.
Yeah. No, I actually super duper agree there. And Purge, yeah, Purge Anarchy is literally, those Purge movies are literally the exact same movie done each time. And the movie is almost like, no, we'll step in that puddle on purpose because we're called the Purge. Like, we're not trying to be the first.
The first two are different. Because the first one is a home invasion. And the second one is the Warriors because it's going from point A to point B in the crazy city. The third one is essentially just 2 again, but way worse. But
Yeah.
and then one is just one is again after the first one, they are all the same. But I'd say there is a distinction between the first and the second one because a lot of people were mad about the first one. They're like, "Wait, you created this whole crazy world, and we're gonna stick in this one house the whole time?" I actually really like the ending to the first Purge. As much as I don't like the movies, I legitimately love the ending of that movie. Just a random aside. Remember that watched the first movie? I love the idea that all this craziness has happened, and what's the climax? She's like, "We're just gonna sit down and be normal."
Yeah, that was kind of funny. It was a cute thing
like
too, and the cuteness, like in a little joke, or whatever, is kind of silly sometimes for something so big like that. But it was nice to kind of just like see that happen. Like I don't know, I completely agree with you there.
It subverts your expectation because it's like it's so crazy and everyone's dying and gunfights and all that stuff. And what's the climax? Hey, we're just gonna try to pretend to be normal for 10 fucking minutes until the fucking purge is over and we can go back to our lives. Like I actually really enjoyed that because again, that's subverting expectations and making it good.
Brad Burns saying Captain America Civil War was the one Marvel film that Mark Miller said was too bleak, and the fucker wrote the Civil War comic. He's literally the reason why Civil War the film was made.
Him! Mark Millar, I swear to fucking God, Mark Millar is one of those fucking people, if I ever meet a real life, I'm gonna punch him in the goddamn face. That man is a terrible fucking comic writer. The fact that he comes out and says Civil War is too bleak when this motherfucker wrote Kick-Ass? Like, are you fucking serious?
Well, wait, what's
this guy wrote Kick-Ass?
Kick-Ass is silly as fuck too, though. Like,
have you seen the fucking comic book it's based off of? Is mean-spirited like a motherfucker. This guy is a terrible fucking writer. Everything that he's done is miserable, bleak, and mean-spirited. It is ridiculous. Every adaptation of his work is a better version. The fact that he says that it is a bleak in comparison to his own writing, that nobody likes a Civil War comic.
Oh, he did Old Man Logan?
Yeah, he did Old Man Logan. That's probably one of the few things, and even that is bleak and miserable. It's probably one of the few things that he actually did properly. But this guy is a terrible comic writer. After he did a few decent stuff, he's just been coasting on that his whole career. He's a terrible fucking comic writer. Civil War, nobody likes that fucking. Nobody likes that fucking comic. Everyone like universally says that comic is terribly written. So the movie comes out and actually just takes the idea of it, but does its own thing and does a way better adaptation of it. I fucking hate. Oh my God, I hate Mark Millar if I ever see him in real life.
Yeah, no, I never heard of him, but then again, that's just me being not into the things I'm supposed to be into. But the thing is, though, guys, we're gonna get into something really, really quick, and then we're going to one of the things that Alan's gonna be talking about. But this will be quick for me. I'm gonna make this very, very quick. There's this fucking movie that came out, this original Netflix comedy event, and it was.
No, I'm out. I'm good. Nope.
Yep.
Nope,
Isn't that bad right away?
No, you said Netflix comedy. I'm like, I'm out.
Yeah. The big event here is that this came out on New Year's Day. This was called Death to 2020. And you're looking at Samuel Jackson and some people over there, but they're not playing as themselves. That's what I thought the case is going to be. It's going to be like, oh, they're playing themselves. They're going to be like, man, it was a crazy year, blah, blah, blah. Which, by the way, it's like still that's a very fucking lazy, boring ass, no fucking thought-provoking segment there. But at the same time, though, these guys are actually acting as human beings just dealing with all the shit that happened in 2020. And it really is this one-sided, silly, fucking one-note joke of Trump is crazy and coronavirus sucks, and that's it. That's the whole fucking thing. And the one thing I hate about stand-up comedy nowadays is because they want to win the crowd over, because everyone knows that Donald Trump is the fucking final boss in our 8-bit video game here. Everybody wants to talk shit about Donald Trump, but you guys do not tell any new jokes. You guys do not tell no jokes. You're just saying shit that really happened and having a little smile that's like, haha, ain't that funny? No, it's not funny. The shit's fucking real. It's fucking real. It's not funny. All right? Then you got people that do the stupid thing like, oh, every single person that's on Trump's side is completely fucking oblivious to any kind of reality or whatever. Yes, and that's a funny joke. That really is sometimes. But you got this girl doing it who's always crazy on Friends.
Oh, I've never outside of Friends, I don't think she's ever done anything interesting.
Not even Friends. Lisa Kudrow, that's her name, I think. But she does that ditzy fucking thing she does on Friends, and it's like, wouldn't you like it if Lisa from Friends was fucking like a Trump supporter? Ha ha. It's not that funny. It really isn't. And it's just like this movie or this comedy event wants to call itself fucking hilarious by just making this a big political thing. And it's like, dude, it's still going on. It's not funny. You're not doing anything different. And those are all subjective terms. So to be objective and tell you what to actually expect here, they stay on 3 topics for an entire fucking hour and 20 minutes. I don't like imagine dealing with people who you don't want to talk to, you don't know them, and the only way they have an opening to a conversation is the typical, man, 2020, am I right? It's like, yeah, it fucking sucks. Do you have any other like conversations ready? Do you want to tell me about yourself? Like, it's annoying, but Jed, I know that I'm freaking the fuck out here and complaining up a goddamn storm, but you watched this with me. Was there any point that this kind of turned over for you where you're like, oh, you know what, I kind of like this, or were you like me hating this the entire fucking way through? Because I know in the beginning you didn't like this. You couldn't have. But,
I mean, like, not enough went by for me to, like, really hate it. Like, as time went, there's still a couple times where I actually did laugh at it, because it was just really just dumb. Just really stupid. Like, there's certain scenes in the movie where the scientist is, like, explaining stuff, and then the people, I guess, making the documentary keep putting weird, like, what pictures going up while he's explaining. He's just like, what are you doing? That has nothing to do with what I'm saying. Do you even care about the science at all? And they're just like, no. But yeah, just keep talking. That got me a couple times, because, I mean, that is true. But overall, like, I didn't really care, like, that much about the movie, but I didn't hate it. I mean, just average.
yeah, like little things like that. Like every interview is awkward. Like they always do the thing of like, oh, because this is off the rails is funny. We're off the rails on Chat Tag. We were off the rails earlier, and
We've
make
never
little
been
jokes.
funny.
Well, you know, Alan hasn't. He's not funny. Alan sucks. He's fired. No.
That's fun.
But the thing is, though, is just like what's fucking crazy about this is just like every single joke is a joke that's done within all the segments. Like every segment has anti-Trump or super for Trump, but in the sense of like where Ryan is, so Trump looks even dumber. Then the other joke is, man, coronavirus would have been gone, but Americans are stupid. They don't want to wear masks. Man, masks. People who don't wear masks are dumb. It's like, yeah. I mean, you can say that and it's funny because we're aware. And
But I mean, technically, like this mockumentary, I guess, was technically talking about like America's thing in like 2020, which a lot of it is basically Trump and the coronavirus. Like you got to expect a lot of that, but at the same time, the reason why this documentary kind of messes up a little bit is that they keep out a lot of other stuff, such as like the tons of celebrity deaths. I know I'm missing some major ones here.
Well, some of the like, what about that YouTuber who showed his taint on camera and was trying to fuck little girls?
Oh yeah, a lot of the they did do like a YouTuber type thing, but it was more just like, yeah, I'm making a lot of money staying at home. Not like, oh yeah, a lot more call outs have been getting that happened with a lot of celebrities. There's a lot more they could have went into, but I do get the fact they are trying to focus on the coronavirus and the reason why 2020 is actually pretty bad.
And just so you guys know, we completely know our audience, right? Our audience right now, and I will say this unfortunately because I do wish we would actually spawn out a little bit more, but most of you guys are Double Toasted fans. So how would you feel if Netflix tells you, hey, watch this thing that your podcast Double Toasted or their sister podcast, the Chat Tag, has already done? Because we've done all these jokes, and we've actually had legitimate conversations about all these topics, and I dare say, I think Corey's done a better job, and I think I have done a better job than this fucking movie did, and we're nowhere near as repetitive. How would you want to just leave us and go watch a movie do it? These are professionals. They have a budget. They have all these chances to edit this and do something different with it, and they didn't. There's no commentary here that you won't get from just talking to Alan and a private message.
Yeah, but no one wants to do that. But at the end of the day, look, I've not watched it. I don't plan to. I will avoid almost every Netflix original. But at the end of the day, it's like I get that they want the celebrities that people like. People look up to celebrities. Unfortunately, they look up to celebrities for the basis of how they should feel about their own morality when it comes to just how they should feel about certain topics. So it's like I understand why that you had to get celebrities in order to do this. So it's like I think I do agree with you that this kind of stuff is really lazy, and I don't really like that kind of shit. But I get that you have to kind of do this to a certain degree because like you need people to kind of readjust, and it's just taking advantage of the situation. If it's not doing anything original, I get it, but it is taking advantage of where it's like, hey, we want to make sure that because people are going to come in here because we're essentially aligning to the right side of history, but we're not doing anything different. So it's like I can only be so mad at it existing.
That's true. And I mean, granted, once again, it's a short thing. We're not going to see it again unless they're going to make this like a series, like Death of 2021 because a couple people died or whatever the fuck the case may be. But for me personally, this is definitely a fucking 1 out of 5. Not because it's so insanely aggravating, and I don't even like hate it to that extent. But that's my recommendation level is that it's a fucking not just avoid it, but fuck this. You guys could have did better. Yeah, and literally, there's so many fucking talented, funny, hilarious stand-up comedians who have podcasts now, and just regular podcast people like just me, Alan, and Ganja. You got the Metropolis Collective. You got fucking Double Toasted who's just killing it right now. You got, and I hate to say this nowadays, but Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan, one podcast that he does whoops the fuck out of Death to 2020. And that says something, man, because I can watch that shit for free on fucking Spotify or YouTube. So, I don't know. For me, 1 out of 5, but Jed, I'm going to ask you, what would you rate Death to 2020? Any last words that you think I missed out on?
I mean, I feel like you're being a bit too harsh on it. Honestly, if I had to give a rating, it would be like a 2.5 because, like, it's not really offensive in any way. It's just trying to give you, like, a quick, like, okay, yeah, here's what happened. We're trying to make it at least as entertaining as possible so where you guys won't get so bored. And I mean, if you guys really want to get everything there is to know about 2020, just watch a real documentary. But if you want the fucking quick notes, just listen to this.
Yeah, and I guess to an extent I can appreciate that.
Yeah, but in the end, like, it didn't really bother me. It felt like watching, like, what is it? Someone trying to say everything that happened in 2020 on Saturday Night Live, like a Saturday Night Live sketch.
Oh
yeah,
my
actually,
God,
yeah, you're right.
Fucking terrible.
Yeah, Jet, honestly, that was probably the most perfect way to kind of sum it up. Is like, this was basically just a long ass Saturday Night Live sketch.
Oh, good. Now I'm never ever gonna watch it. And you'd have to put a gun to my head to get me to watch this shit.
Yeah,
I might take the bullet.
It's fucking yikes. It's fucking yikes. But at the same time, maybe you guys should probably listen more to Jet's opinion there because, yeah, I am extra aggravated because it is a pet peeve of mine, and I can totally admit that. I don't like conversation openers of just, hey, I'm going to say the same thing I say to everybody because apparently life is like The Sims, and I can just hit one fucking dialogue bubble and say the same thing to everybody, and you guys will just, my friend points will go up. It's like, no. You're not going to win me over. Trump's stupid. Oh, I like this guy. He think what I think, and I guess he's just great then. No. Earn my fucking respect. Like, fuck you. No. But anyways, moving on from that. Before we get out of here, I want to talk about just one season so far of this particular anime show that Alan has probably been watching. I hope you still remember what happened in season 1. It's been so long since you probably watched it now. It's like 2 weeks
I
now.
have no idea what you're talking about. We're talking about Attack on Titan, finally!
Woo! Finally! No, it's going to be something good, actually. Hunter. I brought this up a few times in the past, but one of the things that first pissed me off about this show is how it opened up. Like, the narrator's talking about, vast riches and huge, crazy-looking creatures and monsters, and then we're just stuck to fucking this thing called Whale Island. There it is right there. Where, on Whale Island, this little tiny kid, just like in all anime, has to be this amazing fucking, I guess, prophecy. I don't even know what the fuck he is, because everyone, like, even his mom or someone his caretaker's telling him, hey, you can become a hunter if you want to and join the exam, but you gotta take care of this monster fucking whale.
Yeah.
And it's like, and that's just expected within 5 minutes of the show. You're already going there. So I was pretty irritated. And then as you continue to go on, and he, destroys this fucking thing, the master of the swamp, they call it. I'm just like, okay, I'm not going to like this character, but I don't have to like this character because there's so many characters in this. And it's something that, like, I got to tell you, and I'll wait to talk about more of my opinion later on, but, Alan, you, man, with the opening, how did you feel about this, and why did you start watching this, by the way? Because I'm really curious.
I started it because Jet put a gun to my head and said, either watch this or Nana. And I was like, well, fine, I'll watch this. And I think we watched it a bit when Anime Night was a thing before we shot it in the face and canceled it. Mm-hmm. And I remember I didn't really give it a time of day because I didn't really watch anime back then. But when it came to this time around, I was like, whatever, I'll watch the first episode. And I immediately fell in love with all the characters. I liked that the disposition of Gon was, he's happy. You know how many animes I watch where the main character is fucking miserable? Every fucking anime I watch, the main character is fucking miserable. So when the main character comes across and he's actually enjoying his life, I'm just like, you know what, man? What else you got in your life? Oh, you have a horrible, horrible story and horrible reason for wanting to be a hunter because your dad abandons you. And you're like, well, being a hunter must be super fucking cool if he abandoned my ass.
But does it not bother you that he's not bothered by that? Because you're saying he's happy, but he has every reason to be unhappy. So why is he not unhappy?
Because I think I like the idea that the main character, he's basically kind of putting his chin up and be like, you know what, yeah, this is a bad thing. But at the end of the day, there has to be a reason. You can be mad, like, I'll hate you, Dad. But it's more of like, he wants to know why. He basically believes that the hunter must be interesting enough to leave him. So he basically is like, I'm going to figure out why. I'm going to go find my dad. I'm going to become a hunter. And I'm going to figure out why. And I like his disposition because Gon is a lovable dumbass. Like, he's not particularly smart, but has a really good attitude, so people just gravitate towards him. And just seeing him go through this stuff, and it's like, this is a situation, especially the first season, he loses every single fight that he comes across. There's not a single encounter that he wins, but it doesn't really
He captures a
temper
master of the
his emotion.
swamp.
What's up?
He captures a master of the swamp within 3
They're talking
minutes.
about actually straight up one-on-one fight.
Like okay, that whole thing where he captured a giant fish, cool as hell, right? Okay, he literally almost gets killed immediately, like in the same episode, off the boat when he jumps off and just assumes those two guys he met 2 minutes ago will catch him. Gets his ass beat by the old man. Gets his ass beat by the Joker. Gets his ass beat by the fucking ninja guy. Gets his ass beat by the dude in the afro. Every single person he fights kicks his ass. Because as strong as the main character is, he's not as strong as the world is. He's just strong enough to deal with this little island. But the moment the world, balloons, you start seeing that it's like, okay, there are different power levels. And you get to see the different people, even his buddies, he's not as strong as them. So now it gets to the point where it's like, yeah, this character has to, excel. But one of these where you want to see his growth because his attitude makes you want to be around him. You want to be his friend. So he ends up being my favorite character because I'm just like, I want to see your growth. I want to see what you're going to keep going. And yeah, you have a pretty good disposition considering how kind of not bad a life you had, but just how bad of a start to your life is. You don't know who your dad is because your dad never gave a fuck about you. Because this is the rule for anime: the mom always dies and the dad's always trash.
Sometimes I mean I can see that.
I can't think of a single anime where that's not true.
But Jed, I'm gonna ask you, and you can then afterwards explain how you feel to what Alan's situation looking at this is. But like, why did you start watching this, Jed? Because I know that you were you pushed this kind of hard on me. You didn't force me to watch it, but this is like the one show you talk really, really good about. So, what made you even give this a chance way back in the day?
I was doing that whole thing to where it's just like, okay, I'm going to pick 5 animes and I'm going to watch these, like, one after the other, randomly. I went to some random pick your anime site where they pick anime for you, and Hunter x Hunter was like the 3rd one, and I just fell in love with it from there.
Yeah, because like the first thing that kind of made you fall in love, was it Gun? Was it the way he was, overly fucking like John Cena eating it up when he was beating up a fucking whale, or was it just his interactions with the other characters, like his friends and whatnot?
Well, here's the one thing that actually the 2011 version does differently than the 1999 version, is that in the manga there's actually a little bit more before that scene with the with him catching the king of the water. But
Okay.
that's a spoiler, so I will not bring that up since they put it in a different spot in the 2011 version.
Okay.
But
Yeah, but like,
something that JP brought up in the chat, having an optimistic main character is really a subversion of expectation, because it was one of those things where I didn't know that because I was making the joke because I knew that Hunter x Hunter came out a while ago, so I'm like, yeah, it's like imagine if My Hero Academia had a character that was actually a little bit less fucking miserable the whole time. I didn't know it also predated Naruto, because this is very similar to Naruto. Shonen animes have a very, very similar progression. And that's probably why I like them a lot. You have the main character who has some goal he wants to get, usually some sort of development for himself, and then he deals with his, colorful cast of characters. Seriously, stop.
Damn.
Like, what's the problem?
God damn.
Anyway, no, I just fucking moved my head and the caught her branch, but she's freaking out. Anyway, it's one of those things where it's like the main character having a disposition that's actually happy makes me like, I want to see your journey because I actually enjoy being around you. Because Naruto's miserable as fuck. So when he starts to actually stand up for himself, you feel good. You're like, good, you're standing up for yourself. Literally, what's his face? Deku is crying every 2 fucking seconds.
Yes.
Like, I don't hate him, but I don't like him.
Yeah, no, it's annoying, and it's a very weak trait, and it's also a basic trait, because let's just say that it's not weak, because it takes a strong person to allow yourself to just kind of come out there and cry, right? But he's doing it so often that it literally doesn't mean anymore. It's like a comedy act now when he cries. It's like, oh, there he goes again, Deku crying.
Yeah,
you look at something like this, and it's like, let's just say Gon was crying, or maybe he was too happy, whatever the case may be. Let's just say we're nitpicking here and we don't like what he's doing. You get someone like Kurapika, who is completely strong as fuck as a character, and I mean like strongly written. Like, there's a lot to this character. Same with Leorio and fucking Killua. I don't know how to say his name right. Is it Killua?
Oh, yeah. Oh, he ends up being, they definitely flesh him out as the season goes on. But you're right. Like, a lot of the characters there have their own tropes, but have their own interesting backstories. But they're very typical anime main characters, where they're not really super happy, but they're determined and they're focused. Where I like Gon's disposition. I like his attitude. He enjoys life. You know, he wants to make friends. He wants the best out of people, and it's like, yeah, I want to watch somebody that enjoys their life. It's so sick of every single media being everyone has to hate their life and life sucks. It's like, yeah, life's gonna throw you hardballs, but you gotta make the best of it. You gotta try to be happy when you can, and he is happy when he can. Like especially in the season, you see him starting to get angry or upset or scared, and he brings it up like, this is the first time I've ever been this afraid. But it doesn't change how he approaches the world, and I enjoy that.
Yeah. But really quick on these characters, because Gon, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. You know, he has a passively happy disposition.
Although there is something to say about like why he's so happy, even with like how his dad basically kind of abandoned him and stuff like that. You could actually say that's actually Mito, his caretaker, or like his father's cousin.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I guess you could say aunt at this point. Basically, raised him so well to where, like, even though he doesn't have a dad, he still had a very good life because he was brought up pretty well.
Yeah, and it wasn't a sense of like brought well, like taken care of. Where
No,
like,
it was like a Naruto where he didn't have both parents. I can see Gon being a completely different character.
yeah,
Yeah, he brings up his aunt takes care of him, and he's like, yeah, I never really knew my dad, but I had a good life, so it's just like, hey, why did my dad abandon me? And it's like, yeah, Bob Love was bringing up the joke in the chat of, he don't want me, man. It's like, yeah, you can go the Will Smith way and just, be upset about it. But it's like, it's the same thing with Fresh Prince. Like, he never knew his dad. He was raised by his mom. He was a pretty happy-go-lucky person. And you get to see how that character kind of changes over the course of that. But I'm glad that it's not like, oh, well, now he has to be miserable. It's like, no, he stays that. You see him being angry and scared and in some cases sad. But he is maintaining that disposition. That I think that's what attracts a lot of people to him as a character. Where you just want to see his journey and the rest of the world. This world is so brilliantly written. Like, we're just talking about the character. This show is incredibly brilliantly written. Like, one of the only problems I have with the first season, and this is just a personal thing, is there's almost no action. There's almost no fighting. There's a bunch of big moments, but you never really get to see people fight. You get to see someone throw a punch or dodge, but you never really get to see any fighting. So every encounter they have is some incredibly intelligently, simply written riddle or puzzle that they have to solve. And when you see it, you're like, wow, this is really, really fucking... Especially the finale when they're doing the tournament. I was at first, I'm like, that makes no sense. But I'm like, wait, that makes a lot of fucking sense, actually.
Yeah, man, and like, and here's the thing, just to kind of reiterate a little bit of why I'm going into this character so much Gon, is because like the fact that him succeeding at certain things, not all the things, like you said earlier, he loses a lot of fights, everything, but it's just like so early on the show, I'm set up as a viewer that I can never really expect Gon to be in any like actual legitimate danger. And I know it's an anime, and I know the main characters always live through like Marvel movies or TV shows or whatever the case may be, but I feel like Gon is always going to somehow, somewhat accomplish his goals and prevail against his rivals. And yeah, this is not the only identity that the show has, because it's like the other characters, it gives me a chance to think that, okay, if Gon is going to get through all the shit that he's going to get through, there has to be something that's going to go wrong with Kurapika. There has to be something going on with Leorio or whoever the fuck else is going on in the show. And that's why I like that every single character, even the non-main four, there's so many other characters that either get hurt, get killed, get eliminated from the fucking exam. And yet they all have screen
people
time.
Are dropping like flies. Like,
yeah,
literally people get murdered, and the show goes, and then 40 people got eliminated. No, they got murdered by fucking monsters and spike pits. Dude, one of the things I bursted out fucking laughing was like, and 40 people survived, and 40 people passed, including one dead body. Because one dude just showed up. Yeah. I died. One guy just showed up and died, but he still technically passed. I'm like, so are they just gonna move his corpse throughout the entire event, or like how does this work?
But Jet, do you find that like the body count aspect of the show? Do you feel like that's a big strength of the show, or do you feel like it's kind of like, you could probably go more for like the thought-provoking and or like, what do you call it, like puzzles as far as the shows go?
Oh, that comes later with the arc that I have you on right now. Like you'll get a ton of that, but yeah, a lot of death happens a lot in this fucking show in piles.
Yeah, in piles and piles, and I love it. And I also like how they're able to get death across, and yet not death across, but the feeling that you would get if someone died. But yet they put the word like how Alan said, eliminated on it, and it's like, maybe these characters are still alive, but the idea...
No, there are people being eaten apart by monsters, and they show people like viciously being like impaled. Like, people are getting... Dude, one of the characters rips another dude's heart out. Like the show is fucking violent.
But even
as
to
hell.
this extent too, Hisoka, which you referred to as Joker earlier, which I thought was hilarious. That's the first thing I thought of. But Hisoka, he is one of the most effective villains. He has, like, comparisons to like a Freddy Krueger or a Joker or a Pennywise. Or even just someone who's just in charge, like a motherfucker, like almost like a James Bond villain. I feel like Hisoka doesn't have to really kill anybody, and yet the way you feel around him is like someone can easily die.
Murdering.
Yeah, like you feel like this dude, like if there is gonna be a death happening in the next fucking 5 minutes, Hisoka's gonna have that shit done. Like I have right away, dude. He the amount of strength he has with his presence as a villain is so fucking good. Like one of the better anime villains I've ever seen. Like I love
He's
Hisoka.
definitely up there, and it's funny because you bring up villains. This show is one of the weirdest things. Is the low stakes this show has. This show, it's like, because again, you're watching Naruto, and it's like, oh, I need to get everyone to like me because if everyone likes me, I can become Hokage, and then I'll be able to fucking live with myself type shit. Or you watch Attack on Titan, it's like, yo, there's fucking zombies and monsters, and I gotta kill them all because they killed my mom. This, I just want to be a hunter because my dad was a hunter, and that seems cool. I'm like, your stakes are super low, especially season 2. Season 2 stakes are so low. It's actually kind of hilarious, but I kind of like it where it's like, yeah, it's lower stakes, so we're gonna focus on character development. But it's just one of those things where if you're used to watching a lot of the bigger animes, and something that you brought up earlier is like, yeah, is he going to get through a lot of his stories? Of course he is, but that's kind of what shonen anime does. It's like you have this main character that has a goal, and the little things along the way, it's like, yeah, he's going to accomplish them, but it's how he gets through them that makes him the character. Like Naruto is a hard-headed idiot, where he will basically never give up, but he'll always do something weird and creative that you won't expect. Eren is the biggest fucking idiot in the world, but he is so ferocious that he will get through his task. Deku is ridiculously smart. Like, he knows the weaknesses and strengths of every single person he faces against. So as much as he is a hard-headed idiot as well, which seems to be a trope of the main character, you get to see he's intelligent. Gon is very happy-go-lucky, but he's deceptively intelligent. You don't expect him to be smart, but he's able to do stuff like with his movements and how fast he goes and his foot patterns that you don't really expect. So he's deceptively intelligent.
What do you think about the character's special abilities having to do with a lot with their personalities?
I love it. I'm always a huge fan of that shit.
I love it with Kurapika, but I don't like it with anybody else. In the sense of like Hisoka, the cards, make sense and that's fine. But I feel like, man, like it's only effective because you're the main villain. It's almost like it's the opposite of plot armor. It's like plot weaponry. Like I don't know what the fuck that even.
It's only effective because it's well written. That makes no sense.
Well, no, because it's like in real life. Like, am I really gonna throw a card at you so fast and so sharp that I cut your fucking head off? No,
well,
that's never gonna happen.
That's just a weapon. Like that's not his true.
He gets the monicum of the jester to throw people off. It's like, oh, he's a clown, right? No, he'll kill you. Like, it's to throw people off.
But it does feel like anybody, like, there's so many other capable people around him, especially in later arcs, where I'm like, anybody can fuck this dude up. But it's just because he's so chill, like, oh, I guess I'll find another way to get through this. It's like, well, anybody would have killed you by now.
What?
No,
Really?
like you're forgetting. He's also incredibly intelligent too. Like he's just as smart as Kurapika and Killua.
You don't think a little bit of his fucking luck?
And he's way smart, especially again season 2. He's way smarter than Gon is. Like he fucks with Gon every chance he gets. Like he's a very capable. Everyone in the show is very capable, but they're not immortal. Or especially the people you think are very smart. But it's like it's one of those things where it's like brute force isn't enough. It's about how you're going to approach a situation. That's what the show's about. It's like, how do you approach a given situation? Do you just go headstrong? Because that's what a lot of people, that's what the whole point of the exam is because people are just rushing in. They're like, oh, I'll solve this. I'll just fight and fight. That's what it is. It's like, no, how do you approach a situation? Because when you're a hunter, you're essentially a modern day superhero cop. So it's like when you're dealt with a situation, well, how are you going to deal with it? You have Ahsoka, who is just murder. If that's a solution to every single thing, it's going to be, I'm going to find some elaborate way to kill you. Whereas that's not really what a hunter is. He just won it through virtue of the show. Whereas everyone else is like, well, you got to find a way to negotiate or find a way to beat the enemy in a really interesting way. So when you have somebody who's bloodthirsty in this world, it's interesting because you're like, well, what else can you do? And he does a lot of cool stuff with a very limited skill set.
I guess you're right. It does make sense to a certain point. But my whole thing is just kind of like, if I was writing this differently, and granted, yes, I'm one of those fucking dudes. It's kind of like Alan will make fun of it, but it's like, yeah, why does everyone have to be so depressed or so angry? Or what about like the mean spirited shit? Even JP in the chat doesn't like mean spirited stuff the way Mark Millar does in comic books. But like for me, I feel like a lot of this, and granted, I'm gonna use this as a compliment as well. I think that this has very economic story writing, where in a sense of like. As you said earlier, it is another way to put it, but you're saying like, hey, there's not many big stakes. No, there's big stakes in here. They just know when to use it. They don't put all their fucking eggs in the basket. They don't try to, shoot their wad too early. They're like, no, listen, like this is a great universe. We're gonna make you care about this universe, and when it's time to put some real big fucking stakes on the line, we're gonna do that. But at the same time, it's like only because of that reason and the writing of that reason is the only reason why Hisoka is even around. Because if this was something like a typical show where they gotta like entertain a fuck out of you in one season, Hisoka would have been dead, dead, dead. They would have killed that motherfucker in 6 episodes.
I doubt it because you had Naruto who had fucking Orochimaru, which is a very similar, character trope to Hisoka, and they had that motherfucker around for 500 episodes.
When we say no Jack,
That's not even a fucking death one.
He wouldn't have been dead in the first 6 episodes because something you're forgetting is that while Hisoka is basically Ash, he is as strong as the people who are like the trainers on there, like the people who are giving them these tasks, like in the first arc.
Mm-hmm.
He failed the first time because straight up, like, he killed one of them.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I forgot about that too. And there are some things I'm not going to remember as well. But I do say this.
He almost killed another one too. Like if you don't pay attention during one of the exams, he basically is afraid to kill another one.
But then again, it's like there's points where like
the only reason that he doesn't go crazy right now is because during this arc, the strongest Nen user in the entire world is there who could easily kill him just like that. So he's playing stuff strategically.
Yeah.
Blaze and Michael, by the way, let us know while we're continuing to talk about this. Have you seen Hunter x Hunter? Because I want to get your opinion on that. I haven't watched One Piece. I have watched one season of Naruto. I like Naruto, but you're probably going to be correct. As far as what I know.
You talk about Naruto. Naruto stretches things like I've never seen in my entire fucking life. 15 episodes for that first arc, and you could have condensed that to 5 episodes.
Yeah, and I've heard that Shippuden or whatever the fuck it's called really is abusive with that kind of concept. But looking at this,
literally have 100 filler in a row.
Flashback no jutsu.
I don't know what the fuck that is, but I'm looking at this though, and I think Hunter x Hunter is somewhere similar to that, except they just do it right. They make sure to have things that are not high stakes seem interesting still because it's character building. I don't think there's a lot of filler in Hunter x Hunter. I don't know. Do you agree with that, Alan?
Oh yeah, no, 100%. Except for maybe like the last episode. There's an episode I think midway, and I think they're just doing that as a break filler where he writes a letter to his aunt, which is just recapping. It's just a recap episode, so it's like that's the closest thing. But it's one of those things where it's like you have to judge. You can't judge filler based on the concept of filler. You have to judge it based on the show. And filler at the end of the day is basically this doesn't serve the plot, but there's some, and usually it means nothing to the show. Usually filler is just for you to just enjoy a random episode that doesnesn't require you to put any it doesn't require you to put any effort into it. There's a ton of Naruto
tissue to the rest of the story arc, essentially. Yeah.
It's just a fun little story that that goes nowhere. The characters end up and start in the same place. So in Hunter x Hunter, because again, this is the 2011 version, not the 1999 version, so they have the benefit of time. I don't think there's any filler in any of what I've watched. Every single thing either because again, it's like what is the show stakes? What's the show trying to do? And any bit of that is what was it? Any bit of that, every episode means something to the plot in some way, to some character, or explaining some part of the universe.
Yeah, which is really cool. But here's the thing. I'm going to go and give my rating for the first season, and then we're going to talk about the second season maybe later on this week or something. But I do want to put this out here where it's like, I don't know, what the fuck happened to the screen here?
Yeah, I thought my internet died for a second. I was like, shit. Okay, we're back.
Yeah, we're back. Okay. Oh, that's very, very confusing there. Video game thing or explicit thing, whatever the fuck it is. But no, for me, when it comes to this first season, man, I gotta just come out and say, like, I do love it. And even though I said a couple things that are probably not so, nice about it, it's really because it's just like, I'm a picky motherfucker. But this is fun, dude. This is a great anime for you to watch if you're a beginner to any kind of anime. If you're somebody who really likes anime and you want to watch something that kind of moves along, but doesn't have to do something absolutely crazy to just, steal your attention. Not grab it, not earn it, but steal your attention. This is something that's like, listen, have some patience with us. We're grounded in reality. And then we also get a little fucking crazy too. There's creatures here. There's a bunch of powers in here. There's a bunch of shit like that. But I love the characters. Everybody seems like they have enough screen time where they all feel main. And yeah, dude, I don't think anything's too forced in here. The only thing forced, I think, is that Gon, whatever the fuck you want to say his name is. I think
they call him Gon in the show. I'm calling him Gon, and that's how I'm pronouncing it.
True, but no, but I just feel like he's a little too like. What I would do is I'd put him right next to Deku, right next to Ash Ketchum, right next to fucking.
Ash Ketchum is a better example.
Yeah.
But he's not Deku. Deku literally would cry if he fucking even tried to show him. I have to run.
You know, I'll put him
then
next
again,
to
he's
the
a
most.
monster, and I would cry too if I saw a giant flying face.
And for those of you that just want to be nerdy in general, I would also just compare him to a couple of things here: Spider-Man, fucking Hulk Hogan, and John Cena.
What? He's not racist.
No, I mean the character Hulk Hogan. Take your vitamins, say your prayers,
I
help
said
other
what
people.
I said.
Hulk Hogan, the fuck?
Hulk Hogan. I'm sorry.
John Cena? John
fuck
Cena is
so
like,
John Cena.
it's supposed to be the most awesome man at everything ever. Deku gets his ass kicked
No, see, here's the
every
thing.
chance he gets.
No, that's the thing. John Cena does too. That's my whole problem. And granted, you don't watch wrestling, so I understand you not getting that reference. But the thing with John Cena is that he's always the underdog. The announcer's always saying, "We don't know if John Cena's gonna be able to make it out of here. Oh my God, we hope he wins the championship." But anyone with a fucking brain watching the show, John Cena's gonna win. He's always gonna win. It's John Cena. With Spider-Man, they do that too. Spider-Man's always like.
I'm gonna
But
go ahead
again-
and put my hand on your shoulder and say, like, you need to watch more, sir.
And oh, no. At the end of the day, it's like I get what Nick's getting at, but unfortunately, that's the hero trope where it's like, yes, we know the hero. Again, this isn't a 10-episode anime, so we know to a certain degree whatever obstacle is going to hit in front of the hero that the hero has to accomplish, and that is a trope when it comes there. I don't think John Cena fucking invented it. It's been around forever. You're just bringing it up because you're close to wrestling than anything else.
But it's also like a hero thing. Like look at the other heroes that from the same properties that we just talked about. We look at a Stone Cold from that era. He's not like that at all. And let's go to comics.
Stone Cold isn't really the
Okay.
fucking typical hero trope, dude. He's like a fucking anti-hero from
No, that's
everything that
true.
you told me.
That's true, but let's go to Iron Man. And granted, you can say the same thing. He's an anti-hero because Tony
Yeah,
Stark's a
exact
dick.
same thing actually.
Okay, what about Thor? Are you gonna call them all dicks? Captain America.
Yeah, actually, I am. Because at the end of the day, because again, there are different ways you're gonna be able to build a character. So you start them off by being pieces of shit like Iron Man and Thor, where Thor is a drunk frat boy idiot, where Iron Man is so full of himself he couldn't care about anyone else other than his money. Then you put an obstacle in front of them. Now, there are multiple ways to deal with that, but how they deal with that changes them fundamentally as a character, so that by the end of their arc, they become different people. Now, of course, like, yeah, he fights a villain. There's a good chance he's going to beat the villain. He's not going to die because then your development only goes so far when your character fucking dies. So it's like, well, how are they going to deal with that situation? A badly written story will just have him win because of the power of friendship. Yeah, like Naruto does a couple times. It sucks. A good story will have it's like, well, the character is basically able to kind of use his skills as an asshole, but he's going to understand it's like, hey, this isn't the right way to live, but I'm going to take certain skills and I'm going to be really smart about it. Gone a situation where he is a really good person. He's an incredibly good person. So every single
unrealistically
obstacle,
good. He's perfect.
is he though? He's not really unreal. How's he unrealistic? He's not perfect. He's a dumbass.
But
He's
that
too
does not mean.
trusting.
But I mean, like perfect in his heart. Like just because you're stupid doesn't mean you're not an angel. That you're just the most loving, happy. Like it's you. It's like too like lovey. Like
He generally thinks good of people and that's one of his flaws where he's focused. He always goes
how did
right
you fall
into
in
the
love
good.
with Kelly was so fucking fast? Like, that's the thing. Like he becomes best friends with somebody he doesn't even fucking know.
Well, because the thing is he doesn't know. But what did Kello tell him immediately? Hey, no one likes me. Everyone stays away from me. Everyone's afraid of me. It's like, why? My family are assassins. Like, okay. It's like, you're not running away. Like, they explain it really easily, and they developed the friendship way better than they ever did Sasuke and Naruto, or even Deku and anybody that ever hangs around Deku. I don't understand how anyone could stand that motherfucker. But they build it over, and you start to realize, like, especially by the end of it, it's like, yeah, Deku understands that this guy has had nobody. And Deku, not Deku, what am I saying? And fucking Gon has not really had anyone either besides his aunt. So he knows what it's like to be lonely. So he's like, yeah, I'm going to join up with this guy because, you know, you have Caprica, or whatever the fuck his name is. I keep fucking his name up. I keep calling him Caprica. He's at least had a clan. He has to go get revenge. And Leori has his buddy too. So it's like they've had people. So he's just going to join in with the other person that doesn't really have anyone because he wants to show him the like what it's like to have a real friend. So it's like, I really got that. Because again, Gon isn't a perfect loving angel. He's just a happy person, and Nick hates happy people.
Jed, do you agree with him? Do I hate happy people?
You do, and I'm gonna put my hand on your shoulder again and say, like, you gotta watch more.
I probably do. We're only on season 4 right now. Granted, I feel like that's enough seasons to be able to judge something on, but I guess not, according to the fucking Hunter x Hunter seasons.
Why that Chimera Ant arc, bro?
Yeah, I don't know. Just look, the show gets better as far as that particular character goes. But this first season,
everything you brought up about Gon, that's going to be addressed in the Chimera Ant arc. So,
well, I think it was even addressed even with the Phantom Troop and shit like that in season 4 and season 3. Well, actually not season 4, but season 3. But that's the biggest thing about this too. It's like, you know, right now we're just talking about season 1, and for me, I remember how I felt with season 1, and it's like I didn't like Gon. Season 2, and we'll talk about that later on this week if Alan's cool with it and everything. But like, yeah. I love Gon by the end of season 2, especially in season 3. Yeah. But like, it took a while because once again, it's just like when you start off a show like that, and maybe they did this on purpose. I'm not saying this is like a Dean on Hunter x Hunter at all, but I think that they kind of were trying to make it like, hey, no, this is our fucking guy right here. This is our main dude. He loves people, man, and it's like that's cool. But you got to earn that because human beings just don't work that way. You can't tell me he's great, you love him, and I'm like, okay, like that's lazy.
I do love him. He's like, he's sunshine.
Yeah, he's a nice, but there are people around that are genuinely, you know, Nick, you've been around miserable motherfuckers your whole goddamn life. There are people that genuinely enjoy being around other people.
Leorio, he's the shit. I love this guy. That's a guy who earns your fucking love right there.
No, bullshit. The only reason you like it because the first thing he says is, I'm only in it for the money.
Damn straight, because that's honest. That is fucking honest,
Fuck
bro.
you. You think honesty is being a dipshit, so fuck you.
He literally shines the most when he's with Karapika and Gon because they can bring stuff out of him. Like, Gon tends to bring the best out of the people he's with, which is like saying a lot because in real life, if you're just hanging around miserable motherfuckers all the time, you're just gonna stay miserable. Like, just like, what's the point of even fucking living? When you have that one person who's just a ball of fucking sunshine, it just makes your day better.
Exactly. Well, and Nick's like, fuck, I don't want to be happy. I need to be miserable.
No, you know what you do? It's like, I'm the guy, by the way, that they're talking about where I'm just miserable and make the rest of the fucking room miserable.
A little bit.
For me, and I'm going to leave it on this fucking character's face, okay, Leorio. Based on this guy, based on Karapika, and some of the other stuff that's happening, especially Hisoka, this is a 4.5 out of 5 for me. It's not perfect, but it's very fucking close to perfect. I love this show. The first season, it has some weak points, but I definitely recommend it. Jet, I'm going to go to you. What would you rate this first season, and any closing comments?
Definitely a 4 out of 5. Like, because I watched all the show, like, I guess I know what's going to happen, and when I judge it basically based on, like, all those different arcs, I can only give this a 4 out of 5 instead of like a 4.5 or 5 because, you know, it's just starting things up. It does it very well, but I still have some critiques about it. Otherwise, like, it's strong.
Alan, how about you, sir? Last word.
This was fantastic. This kind of this is one of the shows that really got me. It's like, what kind of anime do I really enjoy? Because this started off with I wasn't a huge fan of Nana. For no particular reason, it just didn't click to me. And it's like, I guess I don't really like slice of life animes. No particular reason, nothing ever really clicked me. But I was immediately in love within the first 15 minutes of this episode. Of the 20-minute anime, I was already in because it gave me what I wanted. It gave me a character that I really wanted to get behind. I wanted to see his journey. I wanted to see how he was going to accomplish his goals. It gave me characters around him that were interesting and had their own arcs, and I wanted to see what they were going to do. It gave me a world where I'm like, I want to see what more this world's going to be, and it gave me a goal where it's like, hey, usually exam arcs are the ending of a saga, not the start. So I'm like, what's the plot going to be? Because again, especially with season 2, I'm like, okay, that makes a bit more sense. But during season 1, I'm like, what's this world? What happens when this arc is over? What happens when this exam's over? What's this world going to be like? And it's just like, yeah, I'm curious to see because they show a little bit of it, and I'm just more and more curious to see what you guys talk about, especially season 3 and season 4. But it's definitely, to me, it's definitely 4 to 5. This is one of my favorite animes. If I were to make a top 5, this basically takes out, I don't know exactly what this takes out Attack on Titan and My Hero, because Attack on Titan and My Hero were there only because I've seen so few animes, but this knocks them both out of the park. I think this is better than both of those easily.
Yeah, no, and I can definitely agree with My Hero Academia thing. I'm a novice with this when it comes to this stuff, and I loved My Hero. But when you have like a main character like Deku, who kind of just like, even if he does have growth, he had like these weird spurts where he does a little bit of what he did in the first season. Well, Gon continually grows, and the characters around him grow. All Might, I think, takes a step back. I think Bakugo takes a step back. I think the Ice Dude, I forgot his name, Icy Hot, he takes a step back. With this, they all grow. And how the fuck do you pull that off? Walking Dead can't pull that off sometimes. A lot of live action shows can't pull that off. This is fucking amazing. So yeah, guys, if you guys can give this a chance, definitely do that. But with that said, dude, I'm gonna have you, Alan, tell people very quickly about the Metropolis Collective and all that good stuff.
Alrighty then. So, with the new year starting, we are going to start ramping up and start producing and putting out more content. I'll let you know in the next couple of days, probably Wednesday, when exactly the dates are going to start. So basically, drop a like on there. Follow me on Facebook. I'll be tagging people all the fucking time. So if you're just interested in seeing more stuff, we're going to have some new stuff going on. We're doing more article posts, so be sure to check out the page just for more activity. And yeah, just enjoy the backlog until we start getting to do more stuff.
Damn straight, people. So with that said, it's time for us to get the fuck out of here. You guys can already hear that music. So thank you very, very, very much for listening to our anime review as well as our talk about all things there in the chat. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Gonna be some video game stuff. Probably some more Fall Guys. Maybe one of those games on Game Pass. And then Wednesday, the return of Alan Shakazina to do some more reviews, some more news.
On top of Mass Effect.
Yes, Mass Effect Part 2. Apparently the best game in this franchise. So come back Wednesday.
We'll see.
Alan's probably gonna be wrong about. Oh, you guys hear that? He's already saying it's not the best one.
I'm not saying it's not the worst. That's Mass Effect.
Good lord.